Welcome to Module 1 of the Teamfit Facilities Learning Program, Foundations of the Teamfit Facilities Function. Before you can manage a center, supervise a vendor, or sign off a maintenance ticket, you need to understand the ground beneath your feet, who Teamfit is, what the facilities department owns, and where its authority begins and ends. Over the next few slides, we will walk through Teamfit's franchisee operating model and our 5-center footprint, the boundary between franchisor authority and Teamfit authority, our department mandate and stopwork powers, the policy hierarchy that governs every decision we make, the 8 key result areas that structure our work, our reporting lines, and finally how facilities interfaces with HR, accounts, operations, and the board. Let's begin. Let's set the operating context. Teamfit is the trading name of Random Access Growth Ventures Private Limited. We are a franchisee. That means we operate centers under two franchisor brand families, Cult, which is part of Cure.fit, and Gold's Gym. We do not own these brands. We pay for the right to operate under them. Our 5-center footprint spans 3 Cult locations, AHSR, Halur, and Mahadevpura, and to Gold's locations at Belandur and Sarjapur. AHSR is also our head office. Now, here is the critical distinction. The franchisor sets brand standards and gives us reference SOPs, for example, the Cult Cleanliness Deck. The franchisor uses Odin as their internal ticketing platform. But day-to-day operating decisions, vendor selection, compliance, and execution, those are Teamfit's responsibility. Our authoritative ticketing system is KEKA, not Odin. Franchisor SOPs are inputs to our gap analysis. Teamfit documentation is the final output. Remember this boundary. It determines whose rules win when there is a conflict. The facilities department is not a support function. It is a governing function. Across all 5 Teamfit centers, facilities holds sole operational authority over 6 domains: the physical infrastructure of every premises, safety and statutory compliance, housekeeping standards, both preventive and reactive maintenance, facilities procurement, and networking assets. No center-level decision that materially affects the premises, safety systems, or compliance posture can proceed without facilities involvement. Now pay close attention to this next point. The facilities manager holds unconditional stop-work authority. That means the FM can halt any activity at any center, a member session, a vendor job, a class, the moment there is a safety risk, a statutory breach, or a threat of material damage. No urgency, no commercial pressure, no instruction from any other function can override this. The principle is no safety, no work, no access. But equally important, know what is not in our remit. HR decides disciplinary outcomes, we only escalate. Member commercials, IT software, accounts payable, and gym equipment procurement sit outside facilities. Owning the boundary is as important as owning the mandate. Every rule, every process, and every checklist at Teamfit facilities sits inside a deliberate 3-tier hierarchy. At the top is the enterprise policy. That's our HSE compliance policy, the master governance document for safety, health, and environment. Below it sit the functional policies, fire and electrical safety, first aid and medical emergency response, housekeeping and center hygiene, facilities governance, preventive maintenance, and procurement. These define what is allowed, required, or prohibited within each domain, but they do not spell out execution steps. Execution lives in the 3rd tier, the operating manuals, organized by KRA. Now, the facilities department operates across 8 key result areas. KRA 1 is governance. KRA 2 is daily center operations. KRA 3 is safety. KRA 4 is preventive maintenance. KRA 5 is reactive maintenance. KRA 6 is procurement. KRA 7 is audit, enforcement and escalation. KRA 8 is networking. Each KRA has a discrete scope of ownership and a governing functional policy. Together, the policy hierarchy and the 8 KRA framework are the operating spine of the department, your reporting, your performance review, and your daily activity all map back here. Let's now look at how the department is structured and how it connects to the wider organization. The reporting chain runs from the board of directors down to the facility director, then to the facilities manager, who oversees all 5 centers. Below the FM, each center manager or fitness consultant, that's the CMFC role, oversees their own center. And beneath them sit the housekeeping supervisor, where designated, and the housekeeping staff. Now, here is a structural feature you must internalize. The CMFC has a dual reporting obligation. For commercial and member-facing performance, the CMFC reports to the cluster sales manager, the CSM. But for everything related to facilities, safety, housekeeping, and compliance, the CMFC reports directly to the facilities manager. And when these two lines conflict, when a commercial instruction collides with a facilities or safety instruction, the facilities and safety instruction always wins. Always. Finally, facilities does not operate in isolation. We interface with HR for housekeeping, employment, and disciplinary outcomes, with accounts for purchase orders and invoicing, with operations for cross-function alignment, and with the board for policy approvals and major capital decisions. Knowing these handshake points is what makes you effective in this role. Let's bring it all together. In this module, you've learned that Teamfit operates as a franchisee, running 3 cult centers and 2 Goals gym centers across Bangalore, with HSR as our head office. You now understand the boundary between franchisor authority and Teamfit's own execution authority, and that KEKA, not ODIN, is our system of record. You've seen that the facilities department owns 6 clearly defined domains, that the facilities manager holds unconditional stopwork authority, and that what falls outside our remit is just as important to know as what falls inside it. You've walked through the 3-tier policy hierarchy, enterprise policy, functional policies, and operating manuals, and the 8 KRAs that structure all departmental work. And finally, you've understood the reporting chain, the dual reporting obligation of the CMFC, where facilities and safety always prevail, and the 4 cross-departmental interfaces that facilities works through every day. Take a moment now to answer the 4 knowledge check questions on screen. Your responses will be captured in the LMS dashboard. Once you're ready, proceed to Module 2, where we begin diving into KRA 1 Daily Center Operations.